Namo Guru Namo Buddhaya Namo Dharmaya Namo Sanghaya Namo Guru Namo Buddhaya Namo Dharmaya Namo Sanghaya Namo Guru Namo Buddhaya Namo Dharmaya Namo Sanghaya Kande Maje Gönje Toya Ragai Shosa Oyen De Cho Zenze Choyen De Ya Bo Goyen De Lo San Cha Se Dan Che Ba Ne De Che So So De No Ka Se De Be De Che De La Ma Ke Be Zo Ka Je Ta Lo De Be Se Na Xie Zhou Du De Ba Ye Ji Ge Ya Shu So Xie Jie Chen Gui Zhao Bie Lo Zhe Du Ge San Na Bie Ge Yu Li Qie Song Ta Bie Ye La Me Ze Bie Gu Tong De Zhen Bie De La Chan Ye Wo Che Ye Na So Me Do Ya Da Che Xin Do Bie Na Se Che Zhao So我要向一直是真呀，是要那心着，那去把的看见头面。年上花叶，柳花叶上面个枝枝，天阳把那东把，所以面的说。你的月吧，长不 所下念有没有的马有的有着老有子吃也有帮别大着的有这我去也老见人帮大上上帮他别也让我前人老他把天那么也学会快乐，天在天在那，天到了草边，丢这毛呀。三界学界，山外问多作，南无大悲是，也有了见么？所着过了。常多灭我呀，太灭那我说过来大呢，是样的帮助。灭诺的波罗蜜。大所起念，三别往的太阳当着我，太阳来看表扬的，太阳把来接着。罗山长白叶，天边念不了多少见笑，妙妙在外。得了见人是，这没见王不长表扬，得不马律。若在上表扬的，感觉开表，作业中高扬吧，罗上长篇。小呀巴说我的妙呀妙在妙得了见那这是这呀妙见妙。王不长表扬，天不马律，若在上表扬的，看见 小老所我愿的妙有妙有在为得了见见人是就有妙有见妙我不长妙样就有不毛六就在上有道看见开多见中看嘛罗有上他灭小有老说爱的法的早为老马人不见大所见我了表演没的说有了好的钱表我有的接送我送我多也我有多这多有做好的早有来嘛人不有见大所因个了表演没有的说有了看见前表我的接送所有道有的有梦我有的多有所我的早有来嘛人不有见大所因个了表演没有的说有了看见前表我的接送常住念没很多人不了哎呦什么就有没写来不若见马也马个南也我你所有让人也是这也所要有老长子罗有的有道高的高的爱让 Let me remind every one of ourselves here to take a moment and cultivate the highest form of motivation. We call it bodhicitta motivation, or the altruistic motivation, seeking Buddhahood for the sake of all sentient beings. And with that kind of at least contrived bodhicitta altruistic motivation, we should participate in this discourse on Bodhisattva's way of life. One of the main points that we talked about last time, and we continue to talk about today, is the need for us to make efforts to delight or keep sentient beings happy. And we talked about a number of reasons, and one of the big reasons is for us to achieve enlightenment or Buddhahood, we need sentient beings. So sentient beings are, in a sense, a cause for us to achieve enlightenment, just as Buddhas are, a cause for us to achieve enlightenment. So we need both Buddhas and sentient beings to become enlightened beings. So in that respect, Buddhas and sentient beings are equally kind to us. So we, as much as we respect and treat Buddha well, so should we treat sentient beings well.
Gelung shawa jeva shiva le shige di jomden den kazeva gelung manji shi gelung ye chegi rimja shaw gelung chegi huenang sur shinji ye zhu tege je kazeva tang xiesu songba daru sanje le tejin huwe tu nyeba zhuba dewe sinjin go shawa rigba la sanje je mi ji simje la penu shiva la ra lebani simje thagi se lusum la dega shungwe se tibe ambu sanje na tu ye bara joshin simje khanda dunge da yi me dewe na ba juwe na juwa juma juwa na tu me jawa mi ni ban juwa yin la ti simje da la pe ba dan Dewa dovne se lusumla dega tsewe tibe ambu sanje kunji se tukhin jobe se jeba shijin simse tena la neve dunge dama yi medawa shina tunga sanje na la tukdan ge neva shive se kyoam Mejebayan Jordeperna Puchikba Dukjung Yidumala Pendaba Neva Shiva Les Ziwada Debe Martinilla Gawada Megawa Joa Shenos or did that Simjako Sakar Sanjiniva Jews or the Gelon Shawa Jeva dollars that do a course. But the Gelon never took that towards the Betribal Zobashi is that so the Gazavas. You know, Magic Shixi. You know, ye could do Rimdra show. You know, you could sort of cheesy. Ye to get your Gazava and Jesus Matarosa. So Gelon never told her is a basic to those doors. She thought Joe said you were the Shantideva penny. In the Gelon General Jacob Joshua to also was the gate was how to trash was. But like Gaza is. The Sanji that Gelon never to go to he was a dress. Jesus Subataros, Sanji the Tiajin, Kuve, 2 years Juba Devi, Simja Goa Sharila, Sanji Jimmy, Simjela, Simjela, Penushiva, Ralevani. Simje contact Lizima the God Joe, Tibi Obana, took them, Tibi Ombo, Sanjano, took Jeva, Yushima. Simje contact Dunga, Yimi, they were never shown, Juna, took me Jebo, we never Joa Ila. Tis Simje de la Pebadam, Deva, Done, Lizima, the God, Sewa, Tibi Ombo, Sanji Quinji. To hear Drivi. Jeva shaking, since I done never doing it, the Yemi Deva Shena, Tuana, took Sanjana, took them, gay, never shave. Yo, me Jeva, you're the pen. Which you but dogs you don't la, Pemba the never sheva lay. Zewadan Debe, Martinilla, Gawatan, Megawa Joan Shenos. Or there, 可是心情好，可是伤心因为就一些的一直笑了的，现在伤心呀，一路的你把娘大就他读了是做不起中间没些，就是他骗你的，一路上没满心邪乎嘛的，读了最好的也做过去，就送了这些。现在的现在上期节目就是的，身边的弟兄的上期节目写的，身边的嘛叫这一没得的，那把是那上期没节目写过的，现在都说是呀，身边的话可是知道的上期节目就是，身边的那是写的，刚刚上期没节目就是我的，现在就是他来的那身边我写过的，上期里啊，不给上期节目的呢，那身边我写过的是我。
Geshe-la's reading of the extensive commentary and explanation is this, that in a sutra, Buddha calls upon a bhikshu, a fully ordained monk, and whose robes look kind of dirty, and maybe he looked a little shabby. And Buddha said, please bring your robes to me. I'll wash them for you. So don't be shy. You don't have to be nervous here. It's okay. So that's an example of how enlightened beings or Buddhas, so they always want to benefit sentient beings. And so that's what makes them happy. So if we benefit sentient beings and help sentient beings, our actions delight enlightened beings or Buddhas. And because, as we said already, that pleasing sentient beings amount to pleasing enlightened beings, and that is part of creating a cause to achieve enlightenment. On the other hand, if we harm sentient beings, then Buddhas are very displeased. Harming sentient beings makes Buddhas unhappy, and so that is creating negativity. So because we want to be enlightened, that's our goal, and we want to delight enlightened beings. Perhaps one of the best ways to please and delight enlightened beings is to do what we can to benefit sentient beings and delight sentient beings, and don't do anything that hurts or harms sentient beings.
我觉得这主要就是别人在这里时候可是，马这个不幸的度过去呢。因为现在不得了，很多事情看见这马的干的，不论哪个事情看马的没干上上，我真的经过的时候的，甚至的偏不是呢，上些节吧，甚至那个是呢，甚至上些没也不行，我觉得在这里是。
So an example given in that sutra or even in the extensive commentary is this. Think of a mother who has just a son, a beloved son. If people, benefit and help her son, and that makes mother happy, isn't it? If anybody is going to harm her son or the child, then that's going to displease the mother. So mother's happiness and the sadness is contingent upon how other people treat her son or the child. So just like that, sentient beings are, in a sense, children of enlightened beings. And enlightened beings are happy when we treat sentient beings well. And enlightened beings are unhappy or displeased when we harm sentient beings. Just like that example.
어느 이런 나라 양세 전대다丢什么下当民众送呢상제나라下当的예미제 요 예어시나那상제라 대다 예미 대다 예미니电没那样，有些那个得那怎么了？是就没了。小时候节目些我是用我些，别不带送说是。 this is the similar ya pendoshi na sanji jeva da in the similar never sanji big to me jeva sha chego na in the namje the same kaso ya in yira ta jeba to la shoji ya in sende shi wa shi me ji shoji me ji in de da ta de sha ling che ni to in ku ni le sha dang lo yo mer si to the sanji de mo shi ma ra shu the khaje de na the toda was sang yel the game je already the vision now the your is the is one
and then the Shartse with the Yarang touchable Jagoro.
no the she get the
Namdenal.
oh no because George the you the children tongue very trouble che这说就是这个下零过的呢你这里要下过的那些的真的流什么的呀或者应些家的还要生活嘛是吧？
No. So it is as if a critic raises a point of contention here, so to speak. And because what we just said is this, how we treat sentient beings, that goes to either please or displease Buddha's enlightened beings. And a critic says, how could that be? How could Buddha be pleased or displeased depending upon our actions in relation to sentient beings? Because in Vedic cognition treatises, brahmanas, an example given is that even in the case of an arahat or arahant of Sharvakas and Pratika Buddhas, vehicles, if on the one side, somebody really, I should say, smears one side of the body with sandal-scented kind of a sand, kind of massaging and, keeping the cool. But the other side, there's another person who is trying to cut pieces of, flesh from the body. This arahat will have no attachment or hatred towards these two individuals. The one who is, anointing your body with the scented water or the perfume, and the one who is cutting pieces of flesh from your body, the arahat is not affected by these actions. If that's the case with an arahat, Buddha is more than an arahat of Sharvakas and Pratika Buddhas. Buddha is fully enlightened being. So how could Buddha be happy or unhappy when we treat sentient beings well or not well? So how do you explain that? But in the comment it says, when we say that Buddhas are pleased or delighted when we help and benefit sentient beings, or they are displeased or unhappy when we harm sentient beings, these are all explained from the perception of ordinary perceptions. This is how ordinary people see, right? An enlightened being is happy when we treat sentient beings well. An enlightened being doesn't look happy when we harm sentient beings. So from ordinary perception or the cognitive point of view, we explain that. Not necessarily that Buddha is really happy with one or unhappy with something else. Does that make sense? Yeah.
Well, there's a Sanjay Nimi said, so big, yeah, no, there's a child, Toda Sanjay Nimi, Dreta Maris. Charges about the similar never said to Mijeva, the young painter is the guy, money to Namdo Yoris. Sanjay is about similar Zoya of the Jiwa de Shina, Zoya, Sanjay and similar Bujashi Delia took Troya to that Yaga Kayak, Namdo de Kayomar, the Shena, similar so Tonzo Yoins in the degrees.
A clarification offered is this. That in the case of an enlightened being or Buddha, Buddha does not have conceptual thought processes that we sentient beings have, And so in an ultimate sense, we cannot talk about a Buddha being pleased if we treat sentient beings well, or Buddha being displeased if we harm sentient beings, because Buddha have no such conceptual thought processes. In the case of bodhisattvas, they do. Bodhisattvas can be happy like us, when you treat sentient beings well. Bodhisattvas can be unhappy if you treat sentient beings, badly. But that's not the same with the enlightened beings. That being said, from our ordinary perception point of view, if we do benefit and help sentient beings, we can kind of feel as a Buddha is happy with us, isn't it? But if we harm sentient beings, then from our ordinary perception point of view, Buddha doesn't look happy. Actually, Buddha looks sad. So from our perception point of view, those things seems to exist, and that should be, we can just go with that, Yeah.
심지어 너는 상진나라 신내와 시다 주냐는 네 저드 빼나 빼치다샤는 기부 건식이 류라 연락이 소탄이 그니 차버시베스 매신부 바데 식베스 동해제스 세와라 세고서 뒤에 요데 가고 꾸지 쉐지 근데 따바 쉐베세 좀 뒤에 이 가시니 대화 민주화다 대체도 신전나라 대화다 세 그거와시네야 독신도 쉐다 이제제 사제나 또 예바 또 예바 제베세 타스 유메도세 되바구지세 이들 민주시베가 자베세 정자예베 이미되어에세 마세 메시부 식실 류정의 대화 민주시 되어임을 셰도스 때에 가서 매집에 매분을 매 메타탄 수고가 메타다 매 배도쇼 책이다 메타다 매 가시에 들려야 매 두어야 잠보들 때 도시야 보지 가서 때는 거야 가야다 누가 들려 여르세네 어디가 말아도 산일이 가도요 말이시 어디에 들려도 그매 수고 용서 매세 이 누가 매세 되게도 상에 또 두고 배 세시보 때부터 꼼 심을리고 가젤리는 말이면 소아요 말아 어디 말이죠.
So in an ultimate sense, an enlightened being or a Buddha, is not so much affected by our actions in relation to sentient beings. Buddha have transcended, such conceptual thought processes of being pleased or displeased, things like that. But from conventional point of view or from our ordinary perception point of view, we can feel as if Buddha is happy when we do positive things and benefit sentient beings. Buddha is unhappy when we do negativities and we harm sentient beings. So from our point of view, that's what we kind of feel and see, and we can go with that. Buddha in reality has no conceptual thought processes. Buddha is not affected by this. The example given is this. Let's say if a person is is burned by a fire, okay, and has so much suffering of being burned, everything. Now, if a lot of people come here and say, I will treat you the best food, I brought the best drinks for you, I got the best clothes for you, is this thing going to affect the burning person? No, because the burning person will have no feelings about the best delicious food or the best drinks or the best clothing, because it makes no sense. He is under the misery of being burned, isn't it? So it's not affected by what people bring to them. So just like that, Buddha in ultimate sense is not affected by, how, by our actions, in other words.
Because Jerry top some Jumedos and Dubaguji, ye de Minjushi because those Jabet Janga Yuva, Yimetewa Masi, Meshimbu 60 Luja, Deomini, Luja Deora, Munjurshi, Duva in Barhe, those she the go because the debate here. Munjurshi, she do, then the drummers, Gungo and the debate. Then the Jibula, she say, Kangbani, Jibu say, Meba, Chodi, Rad Bashing, message the Chivatella. Jibula, she telling us one day, they get the K, Jibu, Susho, Lula member. Mashiwa, Lord member of Mashiwa Debi, Yonde Ngata, Mashiwa, Dube Yonde Ngata, chasing Denver, said, she said that never say she Gawa teaching, you also she said, Kunga, did that season the same, Djibouti Lula, member Mashiwa Devi, Yodenga Mashiwa, Debe Yodenga, the chasing. Deba Chude, Zewada Gawada, some use Jonah Shedam, Kungo, Sewa, Jomde, Tenetra Malaso, Jode, Kazewa, Kungo, Yons Tagba, Sunde, Djibouti, Lula, member, Shewa Devi, Yodenga, Shewa de Shewa. Mashiwa, Debe Yodenga, chasing, Deba Jude. Zewada Gawada, Yonsu Joa, Shedi, Sinjang, Tishik, was Shoju Simbe, Jeva Jevana, Simjana, Yosu, you do church, do you churching, Watajo, Tony, it do, Sim do, Majungu, Yeso Bataros. What is that? The bed, the Tagibed, the Jibaji Redua. Maybe also Messia Boba, he was bars then, and make that Fire, Tonga bed, Division, they go along chasing, counter the kid, didn't solve this, and they call that finished. You watch it. So they didn't hear it, said, Simeon, at the gates, never say, in the usual Gaya, the top of your ears, or the old one.
No. It is the same example, but given in a different sutra. I think the sutra is requested for by a person by the name of Chandraprabha or Moonlight. Of course, I shouldn't be translating names. Again, I did that there. So in this sutra, Buddha is talking to Ananda. He said, here, Ananda, let's say if a person is being burned from head to toe, yeah, and then another person comes with all kind of a sensual, treats. He said, hey, guy, just don't worry, you've got a little fire, come and enjoy this. And the Buddha asked Ananda, do you think this person can enjoy or get benefited by all these sensual treats? And Ananda said, oh, Buddha, not at all, right? Because this person is so much under suffering, so how could he enjoy sensual pleasures provided by this other person? So like that, we want to delight Buddhas, and we make offerings to the Buddhas. We respect Buddha like anything. But on the other hand, we are harming sentient beings. So there is, that's a contradictory actions, isn't it? And if we harm sentient beings, how can Buddha be happy? Even if we make offerings to Buddhas, if we really want to keep Buddhas happy, then we should, benefit and treat sentient beings well. If we harm sentient beings on the one hand, and we try to make offerings to the Buddha on the other hand, this offering is not going to delight Buddha. Just like the man who's getting burned cannot enjoy sensual pleasures, in a sutra, it said that when Shakyamuni Buddha himself was a bodhisattva, on the paths and trainings, even though as a bodhisattva himself transcended, the state of suffering somewhere, but because sentient beings have so much misery and suffering, that bodhisattva couldn't enjoy, so to speak, his own life. So Buddhas, have no suffering. They don't experience suffering. But at the same time, because they have so much compassion for sentient beings have so much troubles and misery in their life. So Buddhas are very concerned with that. Because of that concern for sentient beings, Buddhas couldn't enjoy, just being happy when sentient beings have so much suffering, and we harm sentient beings.
Well, that's in a similar to the Eva Jigman, the Eva gave a tab to culture was in that issue. Me during I see shashing, she do my name, that's on you. Never be similar news she was till then. This was the touch is the similar news image, but similarly paper to reality, or till Atlanta or this one. She was about that, or me ever do charge domani. Similar never say no. Two of the major jury say, you didn't dare now, you did that here, called the Shiva Tizoina. That got me, Meshi, Bombay on this. Dual Nalas, Lunga use of J. God never say on gay. To just show somebody. Robert Sanji Green J. Robert Sanji Green, mediation. To joy, Giorgio, Kanye base. The what we go at times, 2 3 yen. To just about the Danish changes. Jordan yes, she not Yingni, Jason. Yingni, Jusum trouble, Sosa Shopper. Yes, Singela, never she base. To the Gavin, Mijabar Joa, Conla by the data. Tube Albunam Jesse, Servant Zedu so. Lazy to Yishabanam, to give a Jiva, Jiva, Ledu say. 2 10 years. So the similar name is she Jutamjet, Simutaji, Trojade, Liberdoma, Shardon, the same king be, Silking Ba, King so, Tamji, never do the Gossam Bo Gunyes, Jigdibi Junan Jisi, Jive, later she will change your you. She Saba Dembus, Helam shows. That have you to Garcias, that's how you measure, that's Sicilian, simply a pember boss to never done the Marshal share. And the age the Marshal never share this. That they do Kenya to Hawk Orsons. She had the Sicil that simply pember mother, never let the time she miss. It is also Tamjasin, Dogo is what that.
Awesome. So then the question is, what can make enlightened beings or Buddhas happy or pleased? What can I do to delight and please enlightened beings? As Geshe read from the commentary and explained that, from one's own side, so we can think this way, that out of ignorance, I have done many things, that amount to harming sentient beings, and whatever I did that really displeased you, all those causes and negativities I have created, I sincerely confess to you, and you have infinite compassion for sentient beings, and so kindly forgive me. Yeah. So now I realize that what I have done was wrong completely, and that was because of my ignorance, avidya. Yeah? And now I have some understanding of the difference between benefiting sentient beings and harming sentient beings, positive actions and negative actions. So therefore, from this moment onward, I will do what I can to stop harming sentient beings, because that really goes to displease you. And I will use my actions of body, speech, and mind, the three doors, to benefit sentient beings that delight you. So now I can see the benefits of treating sentient beings well, and the disadvantages of harming sentient beings. And so whatever happened so far, I did. Please forgive me. I confess in front of you. And now I will do what I can to benefit sentient beings or stop harming sentient beings, that goes to delight you. So we make that kind of commitment, right? And we try to observe that commitment or practice that commitment.
Oh, this is so the Sinjana Nebe Chi Jun Tamji Chojene, Liwa Domada, Shada the King so Tamji never do the Gosumbo Gunji, Jigdebe, Junaji, Givele Le Tamji, Shive, Padu, Padu, Shive, Trendu, Sure, you hear somebody more Kelamba show. Nidisha Zone was a Jigdebe, Dormabu, Luigi Mashu, Doba Gambe Dage, say, Luigi Toshi Ju, don't do say this, and so go by the Seva Sheja, and room, yes, say young, say, lay, say, dinner, say, talking, say, newly shibe, gone, say, and gone, Jamie Doa, Mudoam, Tommy Doa, Kubaje, say, go at home to Lower, Jay, Jigdinson, you go, Zobesaye, no. Zed so Sheva was our that so in the same day Luke Shamasho, Gangberg, Donjashin, Wall Dojashin, saying the dog to Karchigo and the Tishin, till the newly measure and Tamjashi is. She has a song you took Jeva no roses.
So we are on page 83 and stanzas 124. We just did that, and 125. Is what Geshe just explained. So now, of course, as a bodhisattva, this is what the bodhisattvas think, right? We want to emulate them. A bodhisattva thinks this way. Said, out of ignorance, I have done so many wrong things and negativities and harmed sentient beings and displeased you so much. Now I realize my wrongdoings and I totally confess my negativities to you. So out of your infinite compassion and understanding, please forgive me. Now I'm going to change myself. I have a new, like this mind or a commitment that I make, that from here onward, I'll do what I can to stop harming sentient beings or creating negativities that displeases you. And I will try to do what I can, positive actions and benefiting sentient beings that delights you. And so I make this commitment. Now, this is what I will do from my side. Now, from the side of the sentient beings, some of them might, kick me, and some of them even might want to kill me. But I am not going to retaliate against them. I'm going to stay, in patience or tolerance. Even if they kick me, they treat me like a slave, their servant. The highest point of my body is the head. The lowest point of the other people is the feet. Even if they kick my head with their feet, I will learn to tolerate it, and I will stay committed not to harm sentient beings. So with this new commitment, please be happy with me, and now I'm going to change myself. Okay, so this is how the Bodhisattva, how to make changes.
Then Diwali, Perna, Chemo Shun Ame, Jio, Tejipana, Sinja Bunji, Angi Draw. So she is one day, Tadi Degarung. Chemo Julane, Dozi Memai, De Dane, Seba, Yodunyam, Ne. 现在这位一级一级，谁给呢？提醒上手，学的上手，少手吧。如果讲的程序性的那把上，写什么大路上，我在这边的地方对吧？嘞，是吧？别的全部顺序是在什么着硬送的就是我的，你被有往全部接呢？这了可对你要穿呀的，这来了要么的。可是现在这个大联络起呢，这个说是谁的什么经常性，可对这了呀联络呀上班要嘛的是，我听到因身边个说说两个那把可对现在，这这了你来现在，上几年没有些个上学，我听身边他在全部上班那些些，身边都是学校嘛的时候。
An illustrative example given in the commentary is this. So let's say, there is someone, a citizen of certain kingdom with a powerful king ruling over that kingdom. But that individual person kind of looks not that strong, probably you can easily knock out that person. But a far-sighted person knows that this individual is a citizen and under the protection of the powerful king. Okay? And if you do anything to this person who looks kind of weak and you can knock him out, but then, the king can, bring his force on you and you can get into trouble. I mean, you could be killed, but the king. So people who are far-sighted, they know this. So they're afraid that the king might be enraged and that's not going to be good for me, And so even though I can knock him out, but I don't want, because he's under the protection of powerful king and he can knock me out and I don't want that. So this is how somebody very wise, stops himself from harming that weak citizen of the kingdom. So like that. So sentient beings may look weak, and deluded and all of that. But we should not take advantage of their weakness, so to speak, because they are under the protection of enlightened beings. Enlightened beings cherish sentient beings like anything, almost like they are the citizens of, under Buddha. So if we mistreat sentient beings, then Buddha is not going to be happy, right? And then that negative karma is going to return on us. So fearing that we don't want to displease Buddha, so we should stop. Harming, sentient beings.
What is good? Sanjay Dani is Sinjin Go Shawane. Jide comes here, draw Mali de Da Punjang. Tuji Dani Sanji, Tingun Loba Lamji. Nekas Dashin Yaban Tang Je Yane Samola Lobby said, Go down. 春年把你同时到现在设备推手，大顿在吧得了，特殊买了，现在的呢，他在身边配备我同啊，得到你等你打啥个？国家他们就是上届得到给得到你赢了，第一次。区别些呢？上届届去周围是，当一届这些上届了是区别，现在台湾等，台湾的区别这边儿，没些的天气区别下人数是，我听在上届是在小届是上届的他的，什届是刚刚谈的可能你们朋友们的，现在上届都是那个。说就说个这个上街个用的有时或者也上街那个人上街说呢，一直身边他们就偏的居人我是吧？ 现在的안심마도 심지어도 간가일 소소 심지어 페바종이 사실이 무디가 왔어. 어디 주의샤는 상호도 하시니 인생이 소하시죠 말이죠.
Geshe-la's reading of the commentary and explanation pertains to stanza 126, and which is, thinking from causal perspective, approach how we should not harm sentient beings. As Geshe-la explained, that enlightened beings or Buddhas, they cherish sentient beings like anything. Even when they were training on the path as bodhisattvas, they try to cultivate, the thoughts of equalizing self with others. And then they slowly cultivate the thought of cherishing others more than the self. And through this kind of mental developments, all the way through, even when they become enlightened being, they knew they become enlightened being for the sake of sentient beings. So sentient beings are the most cherished beings of the enlightened beings. And so also when we think about sentient beings, every sentient being has a Buddha nature, potentiality to become Buddha eventually. So sentient beings in a sense are on a way to become Buddhas. When they become Buddhas, what will they do most? They will do everything to benefit sentient beings, isn't it? So because they are like the future Buddhas, the would-be Buddhas, and they will always care about sentient beings, so we should learn to respect the sentient beings and don't harm them, because they are the future Buddhas,
Yang gombo sanje ti dangi kona yinba la ti tsula mungu ne se ji shir se kuba mi ji che jarong se demuna ez simje zu ganga ya sanje dangi ko ngomsi ma zu sanje ri yor se ji ngomsi simje sanje bi chao se jaro o di ga de jaro se de ko sanje ya ri di yeza o ti chan shi ne ko ya simje ze dong she ko re se wa ta da tong zu na yi be du jar zong or di shi de ko du jar ma ri se ko de ga di re ba ganga se simje tan ji tong xin sanje ko ma to ya ya ri se shi da she mo re se ko de se wa da.
So in other words, this is how Bodhisattvas think about. At the moment, when you look at sentient beings looks like very deluded, and relatively speaking, they are kind of weak, don't have any power. So kind of don't, take that situation or the perception to take advantage of sentient beings and harm them and, treat them badly. And the reason is that as we debate in the debate courtyard, every sentient being will eventually become Buddha. And how can you say that? Because every sentient being has a Buddha nature, right? We have a Buddha lineage. And so if that lineage is activated, Buddha nature, that sentient being will eventually become Buddha. So from that point of view, right, if you think far away, sentient beings are not going to remain weak like they do now, because they are able to get rid of afflictive emotions, as well as the latencies, the imprints of the afflictive emotions, the cognitive obscurations, and they can become fully enlightened beings. They have that cause within them, every sentient being has. So they can become very powerful. So understanding that, then we should, learn to respect sentient beings and cherish them, because after all, they are future Buddhas. So we should learn to cherish, sentient beings and don't consider them as if they're going to be weak like this forever.
Hizi de kai yomar ma tidi ina kwa jibu re so de ko pe jibu re si simje gondong ni pe kar so rugu ye za ti sha ni zwa xi wo ra de ne simje ga ga ni sang ji ge ra sang ji simje tong xin ge xie de ti sha ni mo ban sang ji ge ye sang ji ge bi sha ni sam ni ene be za xi wo xi na ti ya de wa re so da ga ji.
So when we think from that perspective, at the moment sentient beings look weak, defiled, deluded, but they have the Buddha nature. They can get rid of all the obscurations, and eventually they become Buddhas, right? Most powerful. And so from that point of view, then we should learn to cherish sentient beings. We do cherish, Buddhas. An example given is this. When a royal child is born, girl or a boy, especially boy, well, that child is just a baby, doesn't know a thing. No education, no ability to do anything, nothing, zippo. But still people cherish the prince or the princess like anything, because they know in the future, this will become their king or this will become their queen. So that's why they learn to cherish this royal child. So like that, because sentient beings will eventually become Buddhas, right? So from that point of view, we should learn to cherish sentient beings and respect them. So why don't we respect sentient beings? Why we only respect Buddhas? We're asking that question to ourselves. Bodhisattvas are asking that question to themselves. So the contention is that we want to delight or please enlightened beings, right? That's the agreement. Right? That's what we do, everything to follow Buddhas and cherish them, respect them, and follow their way. But on the other hand, if we treat sentient beings badly and harm them, then it's a contradictory, right? So we want to please Buddhas, but we are doing something to the sentient beings that will never make Buddhas happy or pleased. And so we should be able to see that contradiction and change our course of thinking and action. We should know that sentient beings are always watched by the Buddhas. Right? Buddhas are the sentient beings' supervisor. Don't think that sentient beings have nobody on their side. The Buddhas are always watching sentient beings and how do you treat sentient beings. So when we don't treat sentient beings well, Buddha's always watching, right? The supervisor is not happy. And so if you want the supervisor happy, the master happy, then we have to treat the sentient beings properly.
Oh, that condition, they Karchina machine, in the Simjin Go machine, Sanji time share, so Saya, there are Simjin in Sago in the Karchina machine, the Simjin Shena, in a Mido, jury, Simjin Guashina, direct country jury, today songs in the Simjin Go, Livatanji, Jordan, that's go at it. So the pendes students of a culture now would take juries or did take it. Did they have that user Kagata to go on Rosa so?
No.
My Shevatar Simji, round never not so Shevana. Tomji Sangushi do, Dennis, told them about them. Teba the Govaje days. Simji Sim Guashi, Tab Bashi, Sheva Din, Dihishabanam. Took years in the Rangbar Shivis, how you show in the Dele Labi, Jawasi, Dele Labi, Jawas, Siji, Yebaji, maybe Shedda, Rangdo Yatabar, Drover Sheba, Debahi Yido, Shete, Sanjetoji, Yuzo, Zober Shibes. Tablana in the Cherda. Jigdeba Tabji is Lugan Taza Sewa Dekona Ye Tes, Simjin Goashival Denes, Rarangi, Kewa the Sabes, Tisum Yilana, Tini Bisheros. But a Dorden there does in the Simjin Goasha, Lizota Yazaris, was Simjin Hedatons, the Soto Sanji Tava Taji Gobotona. karşı güde oteri tip simji goa maşina en sonun sayada sadece yak tabi omaris.
Geshe-la's reading and explanation pertains to stanza 127 at the bottom of page 83. So as Geshe-la explained, we want to be enlightened. And to become enlightened, we must create the necessary causes and conditions. We have to accumulate merit and wisdom. That's essential causes to become Buddha. And we know that by delighting Buddhas and offerings to the Buddhas, following Buddha's way, we accumulate a lot of merit, which will help us to advance to enlightenment. But a lot of the merit that is required is also contingent upon sentient beings, right? By treating sentient beings well. As we talked about many reasons before, I mean, how can we ever cultivate love and compassion and altruism without depending upon sentient beings or thinking about them? Yeah. So sentient beings are equally important in terms of accumulating merit. And so therefore, we should learn to respect sentient beings and treat sentient beings properly. So in that sense, sentient beings is like the source of all the goodness, isn't it? Right? For us to have all kinds of goodness, we need accumulate merit. And the source of the merit are enlightened beings and sentient beings, isn't it? And so therefore, we should learn to respect and cherish the sentient beings, and that we don't harm them, because harming them, if we harm sentient beings, as we said before, but we also try to make offerings to the Buddha, that doesn't work. Okay, perhaps the best way to please and delight sentient beings is not to harm sentient beings and benefit sentient beings. Okay, but if we make a lot of offerings to Buddha, but we harm sentient beings, that's not going to work at all. So to accumulate merit, we have to respect both Buddhas and sentient beings equally.
Rangdong yang da war roba shewa yang de baji ni do she sanje top shi ge jutso zo ba shewe ta la na me ba yin be she da jide ba ta ji dunge ta da sewa de ko na ni de simje go shewa le te se rang ke wa da sa be se te zum yi la ga ji de bi she ro te da no sanje ni be ba so Jubje ton subote, jubje ki tab suyin ba de, suyin ba te tabena, dag du, simjin goa shebe se, tab dinye la yang, dinye lang, tani se labar shawus. Japer gara se, tede dage, du shu, dinye sha, she yewa sonde, Sanzam shi tushu kyang, dinyi khwana yinbi, lekpara sa che to sheba gosa. Wate da yin kangshe taba tabi sheba, dendro da kangshe da likzo sanji ki zawa tel, den simjin gowa sheba to deris. Sheta te sanzang, ene peke rangshin tong kharra shidubna ya simjin gowa ma sheba di tabi yomari. Sheta sonu sowa senanda, sanji nyeba sheba gyo senanda, Simjin pendo basenda gaga odil simjin goa shiva diris. Sheda the tadu judu dire sheda tadu sudeni simjin goa shiva tav chigolia rugi insen ya ik be tamja te bo shogo res to this year do.
Stanza 127 reads, pleasing living beings delights the Tathagatas and perfectly accomplishes my own purposes as well. In addition, it dispels the pain and misery of the universe. Therefore, I should always practice it. Right? So as Geshe continues to explain, whatever our aspirations, we want to achieve good rebirth. Okay, that's one aspiration. We want to achieve freedom or liberation from samsara. We want to achieve nirvana. That's another aspiration. We want to be fully enlightened being Buddha. All those aspirations can be fulfilled if we learn to respect and cherish sentient beings and benefit them and don't harm them. Okay. So in that sense, sentient beings are the source of all the goodness that we are seeking. And as we become enlightened being, then we fulfill the dual purpose of both self and others. So we can give different names to what we do, call it accumulating merit, right? Benefiting sentient beings, and delighting Buddhas. All of this come down to the same thing: respect sentient beings, treat them well. Just commit ourselves only to this. This is the practice. Okay, help sentient being, benefit sentient being, don't harm them. And all these labels we use come down to the bottom line. This is it. And through this, we are able to create the necessary causes to become enlightened beings.
대다 상제예버서 상제예버 심지거하시 소소소 소조시 어디 강가 소보드 강가 두자도 동선부디 두지기 타주 인 심지거하시가 되리시 더 다기 두다도 심지거하시베 니차 셰 르버 송소 그 예버 송데 서서히 두기 내 코너에 비해서 레버라 제도 셰버워사 선수 두유사 다 선수의 파울시버 저 제버스 제바 자세벌라고서 제바 자세벌라야디 가르에서는 어디 스미는 거아시아 될라디 버는지 시 사도 될라야요 말바 어디서 봐요.
So bodhisattvas tell themselves this, and that I want to be enlightened in. So what do I need to do? Benefit sentient beings. I need to accumulate a lot of merit to become Buddha. What do I need to do? Help sentient beings. And so I want to fulfill all my aspirations, benefit sentient beings. So it's all points to the same thing. Whatever we are saying we want, right? Or it's all boils down to that. So that is called the Bodhisattva's discipline. Okay, Bodhisattva, no, that is my discipline, practice. And so from here on, I will dedicate myself, all my time to do that, not to harm sentient beings, but to help or benefit sentient beings. Why is a Bodhisattva discipline or practice? Bodhisattvas, when you think about all the 6 perfections, except the perfection of wisdom, right? All the 5 perfections are, to do benefiting sentient beings, isn't it? We need to accumulate, incredible merit, punya, and that's done through the 5 perfections. And all the 5 perfections are related to how we treat sentient beings. So there is no way out. We cannot harm sentient beings and ignore them as if then we can do the perfections and achieve Buddhahood. There isn't. So give them any name. I want to become Buddha. I want to fulfill all my purposes. I want to accumulate a lot of merit. I want to transform myself for better. All comes down to benefit sentient beings, respect sentient beings, right? That's what it is.
Yeah, she gets dollars. Did I know something go shawagi? Shouldn't say be laying, she so. There's a Sanji la Teba Sanji la Tigun Debi. He himself Deba. Two never drove a Debe. Something go shawagi using here. Sanji Nanji Tambor took Jeva Pardu, saw Saba, Tar Sanjiva Tamji, Shen Pemba, Shen Pembe, Pemba Penda Drubi, Tumbashi Madopa, Rondo Govakaya, maybe said that Yodeta even Tebali, Shedera Mama Ronlu, not so tall. Not so Tazu Monguzi Gijang Shunu Nese Shela Gaji Mala Lucille Mala Pa. He Soba Shebu Dani Yonde Junzeva Doe Lungju Shela Chada Sheda Se Ne Shemala. She so la, they get the Sanji ye mi ge simje la pe nu shiba la ra le be se na sanje na nye ba tam chube cho yin ber de simje go sha go be su se simje go sha de ba le nga la ku ba simje thong de ku ba she da me ka gi ning ji ma da ti nga la ku ba de she so de simje pe ba shong ya ti ne she ba shung jo jo de ka gi yi ne go she ba yi bi so ne be da yi je na hen la number so ba rung le bar jan she ba shir ga ti she men ju shumata the put George the GC Shebu the Shantideva cha the seed made the Lunam Jow Kana Ze the Shane Maya Yontawa Tenativa never Shena God never Shinger Shiva Jur Tena Simji Peba Shena God Shiva Show Simji never Shiva God Shindi never show there's the God Simji Sumba Nuena Simji Nala Sewa Shedi Naye Loma Shedi Shesubatar was what is that? And the Sajik Gosum Shaka Simji Pema Shedi Simji never she did the Sanji never tell your Maris. Sanji Sanjia got the Sosa Ganga, the Simji Sonshia to that she was Sosa in the Rondon your Maris. Simji Tonshia Zeta, this was the Simji never she did. In the Sanji Neva Shiada, in the source of a source of this San Yomaris. Mazar Ton was Mazakoro Yomaris.
No. So as Geshe explained, that bodhisattvas engage in what are called extensive beneficial deeds, and which are primarily to do with the first 5 perfections, and those are contingent upon sentient beings because they can't practice perfections in relation to inanimate objects, a rock or a tree. They have to practice in relation to animate beings, and so therefore they cherish sentient beings like anything. And so when we look at Buddha's life story, initially Buddha generated bodhicitta altruism. That's all for the sake of sentient beings. Yeah. In the middle, Buddha accumulated merit and wisdom, that too for the benefit of sentient beings. Eventually, when Buddha achieved Buddhahood, that also for the benefit of sentient beings. So everything Buddha did from the beginning to the middle to the end, there was nothing self-centered or selfishness involved here. Everything for the benefit of others. And so that's why, if we want to, delight Buddha, so please, we should delight sentient beings. And if we don't know how to delight sentient beings, there's no way to delight enlightened beings. Enlightened beings. Buddha himself said that if you harm sentient beings, you're harming me. If you treat sentient beings well, you are treating me well. Right? What you do to the sentient being, that amounts to how you treat me as well. So Buddha sacrificed so much for the benefit of sentient beings while on the path and trainings, and even as an enlightened being. And why? Because for them, there's nothing more important than taking care of sentient beings. So therefore, we cannot, disrespect and harm, sentient beings. If you do that, even if we say that I want to become Buddha, it's just like, metaphorically speaking, we want to do a business with no money at all. There's no principal amount, So how can you do business at all? So if we have a lot of merit, that is the principal amount we have, and the merit really comes largely from benefiting sentient beings.
Okay, Simji never Shiva, the Sanji never Shiva, show is. Simji the paper drawer, the Sanji the paper drawer, show is. Said the day said the Simji never Shena in the Sanji, because the Loman Rigmaris.
No, so.
This is the Karsa. So I said, Guy Loma Shida is Loma Redua. Simji never she in the Sanji Loma 那么嘛有这种，咱上学成，那么上学成非洲人这个非洲是这样的。
So as Kehila read there, Buddha said, if you harm sentient beings, you're harming me. If you benefit sentient beings, you are benefiting me. And if you harm sentient beings, you cannot be my disciple, my follower. How can you be? So we will stop there today. And as we said, we have two auspicious. Of course, we are celebrating a little early because only Sunday we get together here. And so we will skip question and answer today. And so this is what we will do. We will do our mandala offering, dedication, the long life prayers. We will add the 16 Arahat long life prayer, a couple of pages in Tibetan. That's normally recited for the long life of all the gurus. And then we will do the remaining dedication stanzas. Okay. Lord Yazi Yuzhong Dhargye Tesang Pongwei Chudong Menba Xin Tenba Zinla Wangdo Jichu Changye Chugun Chula Sowa De page 5 Ma Wang Dame Gunjian Donga De Gangli Zhongso Yinda Seze 将军叫我一我要是见长松定计马为西我定见一为英国这边世界女工长主定着龙岛他们这北北北云绿家家子滚到下边天上光大接着装备用作有的特别鸟给 龙的地见那边变的，头顶康的大波下边，到那后面再把南大天堂周围变的中围，随着居民前边前来，街上对接人都下边，其实那面土地没那么大，街上对接天堂，手中都到启动动。 其他面边两个人都说 page 9 让张新给广播在把门做到南街也用这么叫做菜叶老做他们这大的米线炒给我做昨天其他路上叫我协助电帮这边北云 他的对家将给新年养着年前王国晓得一天送个强郎北面天边找我说说他吧让他最近养大王国路上见的北位晓得对中家人农人养北上中南者长人准备公中写了送出这边天边阿大全部晓得 前边东岸国王不做，这边流亡，这边等等那些当家就给着新年全部小，前边朗读过些这的，顺便查查念着让上边大家准备，顺便新年全部小人说，车上有了这边等，民众到这上面去了。 老人最近盯着北下边，现在新年全部下，车上叫我世界去了的，昨天他真家子，大家拉上大边的。那个人多，so we'll do the 16 Arahat now prayer. 朝的国内加上高的这牛毛到了，现在老公呢，旁边现在旁边住的。 这些确定价值维修，拉的大娘认真严格的遵循确实严格实施，认真立足这些过些不白马年的一百等等，突厥这边对接对家那的郎老等在不为， 托瓦求达念点全部呢，扩大结巴念。求觉教瓦世界他们界的写了明白牛毛做给，他们的生大心多来个别，求觉念对肯定就说，用着区别念所见证呢，若月对接确接写说，若月公布下家生给也上界电报刚给恰多，做到临近中介高阶不，求觉当中全部就说，他们这别别来多见证呢，若月对接确接写说。特别高贵，特别严正的，养老主导，马帮当当，对点多节每部上过当，谁不马上打扫谁进，跑步拉当常见的，蓝点马上打扫顺脚，蓝点路点没切吧，活当结吧。帮他运作上街讲，有些外给你的主张，确保经济起来去装备，那点居住地区态度，这些高楼总在电报说，让到多年国外能在，现在落在那点居住不，他们这都是外给那点。给你亚洲人这边这点吧，工作总结相对结束，是那人间领导现在呢，六月对接节节是中点点点全包了，大家是那给包的，这些确保的，这些中点说，还给听见的今年给这年老瞧我，那么人间大表过，都是天下别了。电报也报经济路，广播都是现代化，当前前边电报部是哪用的？这些下了查这路，电报也报经济路，大白对家这报就各位年中来的进，知道等等说。西就叫了查这路，电报也报经济，这呢这边那样的，那帮的那差不多的，新的能报用。早就跟定拉下的电报也报经济路，杭州把一入关的，营商他们这。这些可乐果子呗，下家生意得了的，电报也报经济。也把管来他们这些原定管节电报部，甚至管节经济，他们这养老查这路，电报也报经济，看给给当几把的，最低一年帮助，邻居这帮中上帮，同往电了大家，电报也报经济路，从面大为没关系，世界多的。谢谢常年印度说上的娘下这种，那面国际电报等电报也报新疆，抗日情报对这了，爸爸那天养老中，这种东的送去，各部俺也人家这，那面国际电报等电报也报新疆。长松利益关系呢，爸爸那天没办法，这种家长这个。常年年下在这子，那面国际电报的电报也报经济，老妈准备日报呢，爸爸那天哪的，这种东的事。例如俺要在这子，那面国际电报的电报也报经济，让不那个上来呢，爸爸那天对的呢，这种东的世界过世界呢，那面国际电报的电报也报经济。新加坡也领导的那天都是没有这种东道几个，例如我要人家的那面国际电报的电报也报，出也没那里呢，爸爸那天上班呢，这种东道你见过，确实养下子，那面国际电报的电报也报亲戚。那种当爸看见了，爸爸那天随便我，这种情况我见过，临近下班人家。那面国在天把也把今天路农业把浪追来呢，把上打扫时间呢，这种情况对就常年娘家在家子，那面国在天把的天把也把今天上给上面年长的，爸爸那天把过了，这种情况估计。常年牛来增加子，那面国在电报的电报也把今天这样会议领导的，爸爸那天朝见的，这种东道去，人家周学在家子，那面国在电报的电报。今天路超过公布任务了，爸爸那天那边的，这种东道出去。 常年娘家在家的，拉面国在电报的，电报也报进。下届六八领导的，把他大啥使用的，他从东大这个过来帮公司。拉面国在电报的，电报也报进阶了，他呢送出早中的，爸爸那的，他从全部估计过来帮去在人家的，拉面国在电报的，电报也报进阶。立业业务我养了，爸爸那天录音的，他从东大你就公报还是人家子，我们估计电报的，电报也报今天立业业务迷糊了，爸爸那天白天的，他从东大常年娘家在家子，我们估计电报的，电报也报今天看见立业业务了，爸爸那天没接吧，他从东大这个过，讲究这天在家。上面估计电报的，电报今年到吧到了呢，那边对接来帮着，那我他也不在家，那个公报在家，上面估计电报的，电报也往今年了，如果送到跨界过，前面送到那么的。让估计已经写了查证了，我们估计电报的，电报也报今年了，悄悄也报他们家了，新都国际常年的。说到这边查证了，我们估计电报也报今年了，今年说到出去今天了，都从小报民业申请，大概马六接到他们家了，六到外业单位查证。上过这边马浪到大的，叫我他们这已经运送到新的年路上走，叫我管了常在确保的，大家适当题目忘给人，路到马到地形一帮大概一帮姐姐我得到他们这大概说说，出去叫我管到上街这，让街弄到老大没了，说我问也送了刚了一样，得到问题结束导演。刚那几天去，讲究人把上街马家的公报得大概他们家了，可了没吧，可不，两个人到这关系得到了，这我归了培训对呗，给我先给对年学吧样，大概天猫让这样做吧，常在我的최지小包的，接着也让给我准是大概做。他们这老板讲究钱包光，上街对我这种八百多，这边人多，电报用这吧，我就送我那点就电报有的那把今天了，都是当年那点就说的，或者谁说那个有谁到初中些别创造的电报有的那把今天身边规矩谁就这种吧，雷达相对这个今天。旁边刚上进步艰难的，电报有的那把今天大型给外早晚第一呢，平台中呢电报没，中央工作马路老板的，西边叫做牛刀那把，是那叫做用作早节的，一天叫做南帮大把，原天叫做马路工作呗，今天过来就把它跑吧，中年大人就从要娃的，平来路节原天鸟。给我年百对象们这们，那么就开这些说，都说叫我就是年的这点三八七十八，两把九千多万等这呗，那点全部你们的来真的来，认真过来的来钱，认真到多的。工作总结大结说，强调深造人不知，马杰巴纳解决，结巴娘巴没巴样，过年白话来说，冬年大瓦人不知，马杰巴纳解决结巴娘巴。过年广东白话来说，杀鸡北京中心没到账，热到零些人。上街新多没得为我赢，如果那么大型，确保说抗日让为国人新港的平当的我马路中备，现在谁往天津要作业，下边谁得把天就节一张过着让那满的了，你样大要没 page 13。 ye wa gun do yang da lang mang da de me che ye be la long je je sa da lam je yuan de rab zo do je chang ge ngo ba nyu do jo